If you grew up playing video games in the late 90s or early 2000s, buying a new game wasn't something you did on a whim. It was a decision. Kids talked about new releases at school. Gaming magazines became required reading. Maybe you begged your parents to rent a game from Blockbuster before committing your hard-earned allowance to it. Because, just like today, games back then weren't cheap. Buying one usually meant giving up the chance to buy another. So you did your research. You waited. You imagined what it would be like to own the game long before you ever owned it. And when that day finally came, that experience was only the beginning. You would leave the store carrying this colorful box that felt heavy, physically and metaphorically. I don't know about you, but I had a ritual. Before the game ever went into the console, I would sit down with the instruction manual and read every single page. The story, the character, the controls, the artwork. Looking back, I realized something. The game didn't begin when the console turned on. It began the moment I decided to buy the game. That anticipation, that curiosity, that little ritual surrounding the purchase was every bit as much a part of gaming as the game itself. But rituals don't usually disappear all at once. They fade. At first, the changes were almost impossible to notice. Games themselves kept getting bigger, better graphics, larger worlds, voice acting, cinematic storytelling. Yet everything surrounding the game was quietly shrinking. The thick, beautifully illustrated manuals became thinner as digital storefronts started becoming more popular. Full-color artwork gave way to black and white pages. Character bios disappeared, maps disappeared, developer notes disappeared. Eventually, the manual itself disappeared. Even the box, once part of the experience, became little more than packaging. Before long, digital storefronts made the box unnecessary too. There was no manual to read, no artwork to unfold, no case to proudly display on your shelf. You clicked purchase, waited for the download, and started playing. Every single one of these changes made absolute sense. Printing manuals cost money. Broadband internet made digital distribution practical. Games could be updated after launch. Players could buy titles instantly from anywhere in the world. Convenience won, and it's easy to understand why. But somewhere along the way, ownership quietly stopped meaning what it once did. Owning a game used to mean owning the entire experience. The artwork, the manual, the packaging, everything that made each release feel unique. Those weren't just extras, they were part of the identity of the game, and part of what made it feel like it belonged to you. Today, ownership often means something much simpler. Access, a license, a download tied to an account. The game is still there, but everything surrounding it has slowly been stripped away. Not through one dramatic decision, but through decades of small compromises, each one made in the name of convenience. But convenience doesn't just change our buying habits, it changes our expectations. The easier it became to acquire a game, the less we expected from the experience surrounding that purchase. The anticipation faded, that ritual disappeared. Without really noticing, we stopped treating games as objects we'd collect and care for, and started treating them as content that we simply consumed. Today, many of us don't build collections, we build libraries. Libraries that exist on someone else's servers, attached to an account instead of a shelf. And technically, the ownership of these games isn't really permanent. It's conditional, as long as the servers stay online, as long as your account exists, as long as the licenses remain valid, as long as someone else continues to provide access. And because every step of that journey made life a little easier, we hardly noticed the destination until we arrived. The more I thought about it, the more I realized this wasn't really a story about video games. Video games are simply one of the places we see it. The same thing has happened almost everywhere. We don't browse record stores anymore. We stream music. We don't build movie collections. We subscribe to streaming services. I don't think we're ever going back to the old way of buying things. Physical games will continue to disappear. Digital libraries will continue to grow. Cloud streaming services will become more common. Technology will keep moving forward just as it always had. And maybe that's exactly how it should be. Because this isn't a story about resisting progress. It's about recognizing what progress asks us to leave behind. Because somewhere between the instruction manual and the download button, between the trip to the game store and the instant access, between ownership and convenience, something quietly disappeared. I still remember sitting in the back of my parents' car reading a brand new instruction manual before we were even out of the parking lot. I wasn't just bringing home a game that I bought from the store. I was bringing home something that would become a part of my life, that would influence how I acted and the decisions that I made. And maybe that's what we've been slowly losing all along. Not cardboard, not plastic, not discs, but the feeling that the things we buy actually belong to us.